Welcome back, Truth Seeker. Want to take you back to one of my older blog posts from December 10th, 2013. I wrote about the then new movie series The Purge and what I saw in the symbolism and the date they chose for the beginning of this series when the supposed First Purge happens in 2017. The film series had come out during the time of the Obama presidency, and I pointed out that in 2017 we'll have the next president. And we'll get to why that matters. I'm just going to read what I wrote back in December of 2013. And if you're not familiar with The Purge, it's a movie series about a takeover in the United States of America. They call themselves the New Founding Fathers, and they create a holiday in their honor that begins March 21st at 7 p.m. and ends on March 22nd at 7 a.m., old 322. And in that 12-hour window, murder is legalized. You can kill anybody you want. You can kill as many people as you want. And they say the purpose of this holiday is so that people can get out all their rage, so that the rest of the year there will be relatively no crime, no violence. And according to the movie, it works. But anyhow, I just want you to hear what I wrote then, and then we're going to talk about it more now, because in a scene in the series, they actually specify this specific date that we're living on right now, March 21st, 2020. So let's just start here and we'll work our way through it. On June 7th, 2013, the movie The Purge was released. This one, the movie actually came out on 6/7. And it's about a day of human sacrifice. Human sacrifice equals 67, blood sacrifice 67, purge 67. But anyhow, the film came out on a perfect date. The Purge in the most pure cipher equals 46 like sacrifice. June 7th, 2013 had 46 date numerology. If you go back to my older posts back in the days, I didn't do so much decoding. I just talked about more of what I saw on the surface. But anyway, on June 7th, 2013, the movie The Purge was released. The plot of the movie is as follows. In the year 2017, the new founding fathers have created a new law for the United States. The new law is that from 7 p.m. on March 21st until 7 a.m. on March 22nd, U.S. citizens are free to murder and do as they will to anyone. In other words, there is complete lawlessness for the 12-hour period of time. According to the movie, since the inception of the Purge, national crime is way down and the nation is doing better as a whole, all because of this one day of cleansing and sacrifice. As creepy as the movie is, what is the most astounding about the entire plot is the day the Purge takes place on. Like the celebration of any Jewish holiday, it begins at sundown the day before, and in this case ends on a March 22nd or a 322, the infamous number of skull and bones. If you're aware of these things, there is no question who the new founding fathers are, as mentioned in the movie. And keep in mind, you have the Georgia Guidestones in the world, put there on March 22nd, 1980. They're going to turn 40 years old tomorrow. They're about reducing the Earth's population drastically. At the time they were placed there, you would have had to reduce the Earth's population by 90% to get it to the goal of 500 million. They were put there when the Earth's population was 5 billion. Now you would have to get rid of 13 out of 14 people to reach the goal. More than 90% of the Earth's population. This 322 symbolism in movies is not isolated to The Purge. As the stadium explodes in The Dark Knight Rises, Section 322 is shown. As the Hoover Dam explodes in Transformers, the number 322 is shown for number of days without an incident. The movies Skyfall and Superman, Man of Steel, both titles dealing with apocalyptic scenarios, are 2 hours and 23 minutes long, or the number 322 backwards. In Hollywood movies and shows, there is more of this 322 symbolism to be found. You just need to keep your eyes peeled to spot it. And again, it really is everywhere. Enemy of the State. You know, they're sure to show his watch when it's 322. And if you watch that scene in Enemy of the State, which is a movie everybody should see, came out just before 9/11, It's about pretty much everything that happened after 9/11, Enemy of the State. But when he shows us watching, it's 3 hours and 20, or it's 3:22. It's 1 hour and 49 minutes into the film. Skull and Bones equals 149. The movie 187 was Samuel L. Jackson. He asked what time it is. The guy goes 3:22, and then they say it like a bunch of times. 3:22? Yeah, 3:22. They like say it 3 times in a row to really emphasize it. Again, Tim Russert in 2004 asked George W. Bush and John Kerry about the odds of both being in Skull and Bones, a small society that allows 15 new members each year, and if you could tell them anything about 322. Not long after, Tim Russert was found dead, and they reported at 2:23 in the afternoon. Coming back to what I wrote, also with regards to the year 2017, which is when the Purge holiday begins, it is the year that the Earth ends as we know it, in the Tom Cruise apocalyptic blockbuster Oblivion. The Purge also opens with a scene of murder taking place at 7:44 p.m. As we know, killing 74, kill 44, military 44. As discussed other places in this blog, there is much significance to the numbers 7 and 44 as well. In real life, outside of the movies, President Obama once said we would not have to worry about the National Defense Authorization Act, which made the United States an active battleground in the war on terrorism for as long as he is president. Well, in the year 2017, he no longer will be. And again, this is something that I was personally concerned about in my own life. My level of paranoia raised at the end of 2011 when Obama updated the National Defense Authorization Act and the change they made that year when everyone was out doing their holiday shopping and not paying attention to news at all. But they changed the classification for the state of being in the United States of America to an active battleground in the war on terrorism. And under that new law, they can deem anyone a terrorist. And if you're considered a terrorist, they can lock you away and you lose your constitutional rights. So this still is the law of the land. And Obama, when he did it, he said, I promise nothing will happen as long as I'm president. And I was thinking, well, he's not going to be president for that much longer. And, Trump's the president now. It's hard to say, who this could have happened to so far in the world, but it is the law of the land. These things can be done. In 2011, when that happened, I decided I didn't want to live in a big city anymore. So I moved from outside of downtown Seattle to the suburbs, and now I live in the middle of nowhere in Washington State, which is more because sweet lady's going to school out here. But again, I've just been, paying attention and documenting and saying, this is just getting worse and worse by the day. We're losing our rights. We're losing our liberties. They're building a surveillance state. It's an active battleground in the war on terrorism. Any of us can be deemed terrorist in the eyes of Big Brother. And people are just going on as usual. And you tell people about these things, they'll say, well, that's the reason you should follow instructions and comply with government. And again, if you're content just, marching along and worrying about your own life and not thinking about, the illegal wars we start and the people that get murdered worldwide so that we can maintain business as usual, you can have that attitude, but for somebody who's like, okay, I'm a human being living on a planet where I'm lied to every day. I realize that I'm treated like a cog in a machine, and if I just spin around like I'm supposed to, this treachery is going to go on. If you think like that, like the way I think, no way can you just march along. Oh, I don't care if they keep murdering brown people overseas, out of sight, out of mind. I don't think like that. I think, oh my God, as a person living and breathing and being aware of this, it's my job to do something. And you guys, we really got to just think about the entertainment at this day and age and what they continue to give us with movies and TV shows and all the apocalyptic endings and the film titles and the death and destruction, news headlines. Before this coronavirus thing started, one of CNN's feature stories that they were doing for a number of weeks was billionaire bunkers. They were doing that at the end of 2019, billionaire bunkers. I was like, why is this CNN's ongoing feature story showing the billionaire bunkers of the world right before we get to 2020? And look at what a crazy year it's been. It began with threats of World War III, this viral outbreak scare, the death of one of the biggest sports icons of the last century. It's been a crazy year, and we're just getting into it. So I just want to go over this Purge series. Later this year, part 5 of this series is supposed to come out. I mean, not a lot of movies make it to part 5. And as far as I know, I don't think these movies, well, maybe I don't know. They actually have reported some pretty big numbers from what people have gone out to see. And isn't it interesting, this is the kind of movie people want to go out and see? A movie about a new holiday where you can murder each other? God, I gotta go see that movie, man. I gotta see that one. But anyhow, the 4th installment of this was called The First Purge. So this is a movie about going back to watch the very first purge that ever happened. And notice what day they put it out. July 4th. This came out July 4th, 2018. Not to be confused with July 4th, the day of the big earthquake in Los Angeles. The year before that. So, The First Purge, July 4th, 2018, the day it released. And I'm going to teach you a lot here. This is about more than a movie. This is about more than understanding a code. This is about understanding a system, how things are operating in this world, and who's behind it. So, again, we're going to talk about Gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words, which comes from Kabbalah, which is Jewish mysticism. Kabbalah states God created the world with letters, numbers, and words. Masonry, which is what's credited with the establishment of this nation. They've worked by this code from the beginning of the establishment of this nation. And notice in Gematria, the term First Purge has the same Gematria as Freemasonry in 3 of the 4 base ciphers. And with regards to the 59, the First Purge is put on by what are called the New Founding Fathers in the film. New Founding Fathers is 277, which is the 59th prime number. Remember, Independence Day is 277. This movie came out on July 4th, 7/4, Independence Day. And don't forget, modern Freemasonry began in the year 1717 in London. 59 years later, the United States of America was established in 1776, the same year as the Bavarian Illuminati. And the word Mason is 17. But again, First Purge, it has this overlap in 3 of the 4 ciphers with Freemasonry. When you run the alphabetic order in reverse, America's 139. This movie is set in the United States of America. Don't forget, modern Freemasonry began June 24th, 1717. That was a date with 47 numerology, like the 47 degrees on the Masonic compass, which is in tribute to the 47th problem of Euclid about how to establish foundation for a structure. The nation's birthday, July 4th, is written 4-7 in the majority of the world, foundation 47. So again, First Purge 59, done by the New Founding Fathers, 277, the 59th prime number. The movie came out on Independence Day, 277, also 74. Holiday, London, English, Jewish, Gematria, Occult, Masonic, it's all 74. It's all 74. Gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words, which comes from Jewish mysticism, Kabbalah. Now, what about the word free? We think we're so free. We got free on Independence Day. Free with the alphabetic order is 34. With the reverse alphabetic order, it's 74. And remember, America's 139, so is Freemasonry, so is the Bavarian Illuminati. They're all 139, which is the 34th prime number. So, getting free in America on 7/4. History by the numbers. Freedom. Dumb. It's weird that is the word, right? Freedom. Dumb. Like, you have to be dumb, literally, to think you're free in the United States of America. I had this epiphany when I was in 2nd grade. I still remember exactly who I was talking to. We were on the basketball court, sitting on the edge of the court. We've been shooting some hoops, taking a little breather. I was with my boy Jesse. And I said to Jesse, I was like, you ever think about who made school? Because about the only time him and I were happy in the school days when we were either in PE or out, playing at recess. And I was like, you ever think about who made school? And he thought about it. He's like, yeah. I forget exactly what he said. I wish I knew who that was. I'd kick his ass or something. We're just little 2nd graders, little punk kids. And I was like, I know. He must have been an asshole. And it's sad to think that's how we talked back when we were in 2nd grade. But Guess it all depends on who you grew up with. But we were just having this conversation as second graders about how obviously we weren't free. Like, who's making us be in school? Man, school sucks. We had this teacher, Miss Hanson. She was a bitch. She was. I took a bath every day. One of the first days of school, she told me I smelled bad. I'd never been told that in my life. I'll never forget her. She told me I need to shower. And I was like, man, I take a bath every day, lady. Miss Hanson. But anyway, she changed my mood. She made my mood real rude that year. We started to think about things like, who has us in school anyway? And, you just grow up and you realize you're not free. You're told where to be, what to do, Don't smoke this plant. Oh, that plant from the earth. Don't smoke that plant. Smoke this one over here, laced with the rat poison and tar. This one's okay from Big Brother. This one's straight from the earth. That'll get you behind bars. Of course, that's because that's the one that opens up your mind and makes you think about things. For all you young people out there, if you ever smoke weed, don't mix it with alcohol. A lot of people, they smoke weed the first time. They've already been drinking at a party. They get all spinny. They start puking. And then they hate weed and they blame the weed. Alcohol and weed, bad mix. If you're going to smoke weed, make sure you're sober. And don't smoke too much. Then you might get too paranoid. Just do a little bit. And then wait a few minutes and then you'll be like, whoa, I feel like my senses are heightened. If you smoke a sativa, you'll probably be feeling, like thoughtful and just feeling good. If you smoke indica, you might just want to chill out, eat a candy bar or something like that. Anyway, to get back on topic, going through history by the numbers. Knowing we're not free. You gotta be dumb to think you got that freedom. Anyway, this movie came out on July 4th. They say it made $137 million. And again, they report these box office numbers by the numbers. They say the budget was $13 million. USA 41, the 13th prime, the land of 13 stripes on the flag, 13 colonies, 13 years of public school programming. But that 137, remember there's 47 degrees on the compass, 90 degrees on the right angle, 47 plus 90, 137. 137. We're going to talk more about this number here. It is the 33rd prime number. Government is 137 and 47. In the film The Purge, you find out that the government is employing assassins to go into poor communities and kill the poor. Again, the government's claiming that this holiday is doing a great job of keeping crime down throughout the year. And sadly, it is a real thing that poorer communities tend to have more crime. That's because of something called desperation, which governments intentionally create. They want that poor, desperate class because they're the more easily exploited class. In the modern day and age, rather than purge the poor, they incarcerate the poor and they put them behind bars and they make them slave labor. And corporations use these people. A lot of corporate slave labor out of the prisons. Millions of people in U.S. prisons. You hear the stat all the time, they build more prisons than schools. It's real. Anyhow, this movie about government targeting poor for political objectives. So, 137, the 33rd prime. Again, government and authority got the 137.47. Washington, D.C.'s got the 137. With regards to 33, Masonry Federal Secrecy Order, they're all 33. You got the Masonic headquarters in D.C., the House of the Temple, with 33 pillars on the outside, each 33 feet tall. Masonry, the significance of 33 comes from Kundalini, about spiritual ascension up the 33 bones of the human vertebrae. The nation's capital, 137.56. It's got that 56 like coronavirus. We're going to be talking about how this Purge film fits in with Wuhan coronavirus, which according to Event 201, the simulation of the coronavirus outbreak, October 18th, 2019, that simulation says after 6 months of the outbreak, it starts to really target people in poor communities. Something to think about, just like in the film The Purge. But again, remember, government means mind control. Control the mind, and that's what it does. And see how Washington, D.C. is 56, coronavirus 56, toilet paper 56, mind control 56, toilet paper and mind control the exact same in all base ciphers. Just think about what's going on right now with everyone going out and buying up all the toilet paper. People hoarding toilet paper. I feel like you could put toilet paper in dime bags and sell them at this day and age, you know? It's a joke, but it's all hysteria created by the media and government, which mind controls the populace. The day that the Purge film came out, July 4th, 2018, that date had 49 numerology. The nation was established July 4th, 1776, a date with 32 numerology, 4932. Remember, America's 32 and 49. Scottish, as in the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, which the nation's capital is named after, the Scottish Rite Freemason George Washington. Scottish 32 and 49. Washington 49. Ancient accepted Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, 227, the 49th prime. If we go back up to the top and look at First Purge, it had that gematria of 131 in it. That's the 32nd prime number. 131, the 32nd prime. America number. A movie set in America. Again, we talked about the 59 in the beginning. First Purge 59, Freemasonry 59. 59 years after the establishment of modern Freemasonry was this nation established. But again, 59 is the 17th prime number. Modern Freemasonry began in 1717. In London, England, 59. Again, the 17th prime. Mason 17. For the record, out of the 50 states, only the 33rd state, Oregon, sums to 74. Only 1 out of 50 sums to 74. It's the 33rd state. And again, Oregon is 74 with the alphabetic order, just like all these words. George Washington equals 74. They say George Washington had 74 generals, 33 of which were Masons. It's in history books. If you have Netflix, you can watch America's Book of Secrets. They talk about George Washington the Mason, and they give you that stat right on there. 74 generals, 33 of which were Masons. So again, the film's budget was $13 million, supposedly made $137 million. Makes me sad, man, that I can't even raise a small amount of money to get this place and start like Gematria Effect news studios, but to think maybe America really did go spend out in the neighborhood of $137 million to watch a movie entertainment about murder being legalized for 12 hours and watching Americans kill Americans. I mean, doesn't that really say everything about the world we live in? Trying to convince people to donate $1 a month so that we have the resources to hire a team of people, take this research to the next level, travel, do ground campaigns, educate, get people to unite, awaken, do something to stop this agenda. People ain't got $1 a month, but they'll go cough up $20 for the ticket, $5 for the soda, another $5 for the popcorn, another $5 for a box of candy, $40 poorer to watch a movie about murdering people. Isn't that what every movie is pretty much about? It's just crazy, man. This one's a little bit more twisted than the most, though, but again, don't forget that America is the land of 50 states and a million territories. America is 50 with the alphabetic order. Washington's 50 when you run it in reverse. This movie, The Purge, gives you a scene. They show you that in the town of Salina, Ohio, on the date March 21st, 2020, here we are. This purge action's going on there. And realize, they do the same type of encoding in movies and TV shows that they do with your daily news. Just like I always teach, the date with the 4464 date numerology, which happens to be today, there's always a celebrity death in the headline. Just like how today began with Kenny Rogers' death by the numbers, who released his first album 44 years ago. But again, here's the date numerology, 6444, like kill. And they show the town of Salina on this date. Salina's 44, like kill, like shooting, like military. Again, explain the same thing so many times since I've been doing this in 2013. And even before I started putting out content, I mean, I already knew this was going on, but I've been putting out content, trying to do something every single day since 2013, because I just saw we're getting to a bad place. The time is now to act. Got to wake up the masses. And it's hard to believe that nearly 7 years have gone by and I've just been doing this every single day since. Had my house purged a couple times for doing so. By the way, this town of Salina, it's on the 40th parallel and 84th meridian. Might be why they used it for the movie, because United States of America is 84, United States is 40. This year's the 40-year anniversary of the Georgia Guidestones come tomorrow. They were put there March 22nd, 1980, about depopulating the earth. Again, a theme that ties in with this movie, 322. March 22nd is the day the killing ends for this Purge holiday. When you write out 40 as a word, it's 84. This headline was put out late last night. If you were on the East Coast, this headline probably came out in the early hours of March 21st. I'm on the West Coast, so it was late March 20th when this headline came out. But anytime I see the media throw a big 11 out there, I always know that, we're on the cusp of something. 11's the master number, the most important number. You watch a movie like Rosemary's Baby about selling your soul to the devil for fame and success. That movie, they always mention 11, 11, 11, meet at 11, 11 this, 11 that. 11's all over. And, that Joker movie, every time they show the clock, it's 11, 11. The Us movie that just came out, a lot of 11, 11. Again, it's the master number. It's symbolic. Master plans. We've been talking about how they code 121 all over this coronavirus thing. 121 has a square root of 11. The other number they code all over this is 89, the 11th Fibonacci number. But anyway, they refer to it as the new founding fathers. They come to power in 2017 in the movie. That's the same year Trump became president. New founding fathers 88, Trump 88. If you've read about the movies, the director said that he's used Donald Trump as inspiration for the plots. The series that's called Election Year. See if I can make that bigger. So this is Election Year, the Purge Election Year. This is part 3. Keep America Great is the slogan for the film. That's Trump's re-election campaign in this election year. Keep America Great, 138, like Donald Trump 138, like federal 138. We've talked a lot about that number this year. Past few months, World Series, Super Bowl, Daytona 500, a lot of 138 rituals. But again, the new founding fathers come to power in 2017, the same year Trump became president. And I've been telling people, a lot of people are so duped by Trump. They believe the script. They believe the theater performance. They think that he's actually trying to do something, not realizing he's a puppet on strings, owned by the cabal, born for the job. Everything he does is by the numbers. Again, people have to wake up to the fact that you have no chance at the White House unless you are part of this cabal. Nobody can sneak in there or defeat the cabal. It is not possible at this day and age. It will not be possible until there is a revolution, the entire federal government's overthrown, Washington, D.C. is brought to its knees, the news networks are taken down. All of this needs to happen in America. You want to see this world change? There needs to be no more ABC News. There needs to be no more CBS. There needs to be no more NBC, Fox, CNN, etc., etc. It all needs to be toppled over along with the federal government. These are the things that control the world more than anything. Government, news, religion's also there. But in this nation, there will be no surprise presidencies. Again, it doesn't matter who votes. It matters who counts the votes. Everyone should know that. If you missed all my work on Trump's rigged presidency, you can't argue against it. I'll bury you in facts. This whole QAnon psyop, QAnon is 74. It's one of the worst things going. Sad that so many people think they're awake following Q. I would argue that the most asleep people in the entire world, the top of the list for most asleep, is anyone following Q. These zombies out here who don't know anything about anything, they're more awake than anyone following Q. Period. Q equals 17. 17th letter, it's all masonry, it's all crap. Anything telling you to trust in government, you got to be so asleep, it's not even worth talking about. Okay. Don't forget, if you haven't been here since Trump began to run, I've probably, and again, the channel's been deleted 19 times, but if the channel hadn't been deleted 19 times, I would guess there would be at least like 250 videos, if not more, on me covering Trump and the number 88. Could be like 500 videos. I've made nearly 10,000 videos since 2013. So, and a lot of them have been about Trump and ADA. And of course, I was always exposing Obama before Trump was on the scene. Again, I'm trying to expose all things that need exposing. I don't pick political sides. I realize it's all crap. I see the agenda for what it is. It doesn't matter what political party they belong to. And speaking of doesn't matter, Trump was a lifelong Democrat. He switched to the Republican Party when Obama became president. Think about that. Okay, so this film that we're talking about here, let me take it back to the top. Or hold on. Where did I have it at? Where did I have it? There's a lot of information here. The subtitle of the film is A Nation Reborn. For the Purge film, A Nation Reborn. And that phrase is really interesting. It equals 146. That's the flag's birthday, June 14th, 14/6, which is also Trump's birthday. Again, another Donald Trump parallel. It's also 65/205/79. Notice United Kingdom, which the United States of America is absolutely a part of. We never really got separated. That's just all part of our fake history. Again, the Order of the Quest, which came out of modern Freemasonry, is about creating a one-world democracy. The UK came over here, genocided a nation of people, created a new nation that believes it's free, if you're into freedom. That's why they say the sun never sets on Britain. But anyway, A Nation Reborn has Gematria like United Kingdom in 3 out of the 4 ciphers. Remember the Knights Templar, part of the Masonic order. They go back to the Crusades, who secured this knowledge of Kabbalah, letters and numbers after the Crusades, connected to the Catholic Church. Knights Templar have a lot to do with the Masonry and history of this nation as well. Notice Knights Templar, the exact same in A Nation Reborn in 3 out of the 4 ciphers as well. And the history of the Knights Templar in England, in the United Kingdom, began when the French nobleman Hugues de Payens, the founder of the Grand Master of the Order of the Knights Templar, visited the country in 1128 to raise men for the Crusades. And again, Crusades, killing people, getting rid of people who don't agree with your beliefs, your agenda. Kind of fits in with the theme of this movie, right? Purging people. His name in Gematria is 157 like United States, 67 like Purge, 221 like the Bavarian Illuminati, and 59 again like Freemasonry and First Purge. And again, the Knights Templar is directly related to the Masons. So anyway, to bring this into the coronavirus thing, let me just switch over here for a second. Again, the first Purge film came out June 7th, 2013. And 6/7, Purge 67. Look how Purge overlaps with Wuhan. Because again, we're talking about how one of the dates shown in the movie, March 21st, 2020, happens to be right now at this time when the Wuhan headlines are everywhere. Purge and Wuhan have the exact same gematria in 3 out of the 4 ciphers. And if you write out the Purge, it's 46 in the most pure cipher, like virus, like chaos. June 7th, 2013, the day it came out, date with 46 numerology. The holiday is about a day of human sacrifice. Human sacrifice is also 67, like blood sacrifice. The original movie poster, reminder, all emergency services will be suspended. And, you know, that's the way, that's just the thing. This is what I've been explaining to people for so long, is that we're ruled over by the cruelest of people. They've given us a monument in Georgia that says they want to depopulate on a massive scale. You know, you have Bill Gates front and center talking about how we need to reduce population. He says by 15%, which isn't nearly as extreme as the Georgia Guidestones. But again, he's connected to this Event 201 simulation of the coronavirus outbreak. The movie Inferno, which is about a billionaire who wants to depopulate the world by unleashing a virus. That movie came out on Bill Gates' birthday. October 28th, 2016. And the movie's 2 hours and 1 minute long, 201, like Event 201. You can check out my work on that. Anyhow, there's just all this symbolism around. There's all these apocalyptic movies. We know that we're ruled over by psychopaths who throughout history have created wars that nobody needed, that have killed millions of people and made the rich more powerful, given them more control over the world. And we just know this is how the rulers operate, with murder, with war, with disease, with illness. They gave smallpox to the natives when they genocided this nation. They paid tribute to those genocides in their football games. Again, go back and see. There's been multiple examples. The most clear ever was on Christopher Columbus Day, when in baseball the Indians and Braves were both eliminated from the playoffs on the same day. And it was a Monday, and Monday Night Football was that day. And the Saints wasted the Redskins 43-19, 62 combined points. Genocide equals 62. The Braves were beat that same day, 6-2. Again, you guys, when you learn the code, you just see what's being done. And there's probably something to the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl this year in light of what's going on right now. Big headlines on St. Patrick's Day. Bailouts to the Swiss Knights Templar banks on that day, on St. Patrick's Day, Catholic Church. Anyway, this symbol right here, the red with the white for emergency services, that looks like Switzerland's flag, by the way. Knights Templar, they got the Red Cross. Anyhow, it's just so frustrating, working so hard. The reason I work so hard and have been working for 7 years straight doing this every single day is because I just know that this horrible day is coming. I'm honestly not afraid of it. I'm not afraid of it at all. But I'm worried for all the people who don't get it, who don't see it coming. People like my sister who've had all these children and think they're living in like some fairy tale and everything's kumbaya. There's going to be a really bad day that comes that's going to blindside a lot of people, and they're going to wish in that moment that they'd thought more about things in the past. In that moment's where the light bulb's going to go off and be like, you know what? In the last 15 years, I've gone to a lot of movies about the apocalypse. Man, we were just watching that movie as a family. You know what I mean? It's like people are not putting two and two together. They've forgotten about history. Because that's it. I mean, most of us alive, we haven't lived during any major wars. Yeah, we've had the wars going on in the Middle East, but only so many thousand have had to go over there. It's been a small percentage of the population. Had to do a lot of tours. Most people are just living in oblivion. They're playing video games. They're living in front of fat screens. They're sitting on cushy couches, snacking, chowing down, convenience stores, fast food. They're too comfortable. You guys, there's a horrible agenda coming. We could be living it right now. This could be the beginning of it. I hope it's not. I hope we got more time. But eventually the day is going to come. I've said the same thing a million times. We could be at the start point right now. Again, that Event 201 says that the outbreak starts relatively slowly. It seems like the world has it under control. And then after 6 months, people begin to rapidly die off in poor communities in megacities. And again, their definition of megacities, I would assume 20 biggest cities in the world. In the U.S., we have 2 of them, New York and Los Angeles. But it's not to say that it couldn't even be more that's targeted. Just depends on how extreme they're going to go with it. These people do have the capability to unleash a disease on us. And right now what's going on, we're seeing all these celebrities supposedly get it, and they're coming back and they're saying, oh, it's cool, it doesn't seem like it's so bad. Realize these could be phases of an operation. If they really intend to do this 6 months into the process, which is possible, I wouldn't put it past them. Right now, it could just be about familiarizing ourselves with it. Oh yeah, I remember when the celebrity got it. Didn't seem like it was that big of a deal. 6 months from now, they could say that the virus mutated. It became more lethal. It became more likely to spread. They could say anything to us in 6 months. But just realize the simulation they gave us, it is very similar to what is going on right now. But we are not to the 6 month point, so we won't know if what happened in the simulation really plays out in 6 months. But again, we just got to think about everything going on. I've been telling you, since the day Donald Trump was announced as 45th president-elect, which was the early hours of November 9th, 2016. I told it to you all that day. In the middle of the night, I was up and I made a video, rather lengthy one. I said, look at this. Mr. Wall becomes the president-elect on the anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall. I said they're going to collapse the market. House of Cards TV show. House of Cards is terminology for something on the verge of collapse. Berlin Wall equals 45. Holy Bible equals 45. Falling walls in the Bible, Jericho. Mike Pence, 45. It's all symbolism. I said, this is not good to have this guy as president for number 45. The symbolism of it. You know, they got shitbag Americans who I guess wish they were celebrities so they could just grab any woman by the pussy and be arrogant assholes. You know, we got shithead Americans actually supporting this guy. We have all this divisive propaganda, all this racially charged propaganda, all this stuff to make every different group of people hate every other group of people. All of this stuff going on right now, all these apocalyptic films, you know. What were they doing in 2013? In 2013, they had Janet Napolitano stepping down from, I think it was 2013, it was around then. She stepped down from head of Department of Homeland Security and told us the next 9/11 was imminent, and it wasn't a matter of if, but when, and she said the next 9/11 will be the power grid going down and emergency services going down, and the nation in a form of, you know, free fall and chaos. That was her parting words as she left the Department of Homeland Security. You had, Channel 4 in Europe. I think that's what it's called, their big news station over there. You had Channel 4 and I think like the National Geographic Channel here at the same time put out these films that look like they're documentaries and they look like they're real, but they're fictional but could become real. I forget what the terminology is for that. But they were about if there was a massive power outage and how people would respond and the chaos that would break out. Again, you guys should see how easily it can all be done right now just with the hysteria about toilet paper. Look at how they made the nation go and sell out toilet paper literally in the snap of fingers. They ran the story on, I forget what it was, Friday. Yeah, it was a couple Fridays ago, but that's when they started the toilet paper hysteria. And the next thing you know, it was like almost impossible to get toilet paper. It's not hard to trigger these sleepers, these zombies, these bots, whatever you want to call them. These weakest links in our society will be all of our downfall. And we have to realize there is going to be a day where they trigger society to go out and act insane. It's all being foretold. It's all being programmed, broadcasted. It's all being put out there. And people, not enough people, are waking up to the repetitive patterns throughout history of predictive programming and then what happens in the news, what happens in reality. From the Titanic to 9/11 and beyond. Okay, so again, tomorrow, March 22nd, the anniversary of the Georgia Guidestones, the 82nd day of the year. We're expecting a lot more cities to probably follow the lockdown order. I predicted a week ago that on March 22nd we might see some major cities locked down. We know that's happening in New York on March 22nd, 22/3 or 322. Governor Cuomo said Sunday night, New York goes into lockdown. And the reason why 322 is because we know that number is so important to the Masons, to Skull and Bones. This year it's also the 82nd day of the year. There's been a lot of 82s coded in this ritual, including Seattle equals 82, where the first case was found in the world outside of mainland China, the backyard of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, who co-hosted Event 201, simulating the outbreak. The word game equals 82. Remember, the Military World Games began in Wuhan, October 18th, 2019, the same day the Event 201 coronavirus outbreak simulation took place. This is a game. The way the elite toy with us is a game to them. All of this is a game. 9/11 was a game. These wars are games. They treat us like we're motionless pieces on a game board. They know that we'll move where we tell them to move. You know, he rolls a 5, they tell us the plastic piece to move 5 spaces, and we do. Move 5 spaces to buy out all the toilet paper. Yes, sir. You know what I mean? Let me roll a 3. Man in cave brought down towers in perfect demolition. Say it in unison. Man in tower brought down caves. And you know what I mean? Did I just say man in tower brought down caves? You know what's weird? A man in a tower did bring down caves, because then that's what George W. Bush started doing, right? With his bunker buster missiles. Anyway, you know what I'm saying. It's just, I've said it too many times, I can't even say it right anymore. We're living out a novel coronavirus that was foretold in a novel by Dean Koontz, and apparently a number of other novels. It's probably predicted programming all over for this thing that will continue to uncover as the year goes on. But again, it's sick how they can tie a movie in so tightly with the presidency. You can still have these people in queue thinking like, oh, well, this must all be a coincidence because Q told us Trump is the good guy and we should just sit back on our hands and trust the plan. Yeah. The answer to the Q psyop has always been this channel. I've been exposing Q nonstop ever since it came on the scene. I can't believe people think that stuff that goes viral in the truth community is legit. Don't you realize that all the real stuff is shadow banned and suppressed? If anything's viral in the truth community, that's the big trap. You know, should be self-explanatory. So, just look at the days these film came out. All right, we covered June 7th. The next one came out July 18th. 18/7, like 187. Ancient Accepted Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, 187. 187 is the Homicide Code. Remember, years ago, the San Ysidro Massacre in McDonald's, July 18th, 1984. That was 187 days after Ray Kroc died, the man who made McDonald's what it is. 187, the Homicide Code in California. It happened in California. I see this date, July 18th, 2014. 7 plus 18 is 25. That's a death number in itself. But plus 20, plus 14, that's 59. Just like how we were talking New Founding Fathers, 277, the 59th prime. First Purge, 59. This date right here was a date with 44 numerology, kill 44. The first one, again, 46 numerology, the Purge 46, sacrifice 46. By the way, kill in Jewish Gematria is also 59. So, sacrifice, kill, kill. The first Purge, July 4th, killing 74. And the Purge 5 comes out July 10th. 7 plus 10, 17. Kills also 17. State has a life lesson number of 21. Kind of like Agenda 21. Event 201. It's got 57 numerology like Scottish Rite. I'm going to have to look more at this date. Part of me feels like this movie's not going to come out. They might cancel it based on what happens this year. Oh, that movie was too similar to what happened and it wouldn't be appropriate to release it. Have you guys seen how many times they've done that to us in history? A movie was about to come out right near some big catastrophe and they're like, oh, we got to move that movie because it's so similar to what happened in that event. It's like, and people don't get it. Oh, what a coincidence. What a coincidence that was. Okay. So yeah, anyway, just all this coronavirus stuff. They could use the virus as the purge. You know, the movie gave you a clue, but rather than legalize murder, it was Big Pharma and Big Brother unleashing the plague on us. And I hope none of this happens anytime near. I hope that right now we're just going through like another event that will come and pass until the next similar event. But again, you guys, we do live in a world where the psychopaths have made their intentions clear. There will be a day when it comes, unless we overthrow what's in place, which can absolutely be done. We're not going to do it with guns. We're going to do it with enough people. Again, by doing something like what I've explained before. Imagine we get 1 million people. So that's 1 out of 300 in the U.S. So we get 1 out of 300 people willing to stand up for their rights. So that's 0.3 of a percentage point, right? 1 million people in the U.S. But realize you could do it with this easily. You have 1 million people and you're committed to a cause. And this is what the instruction is for the 1 million people. Today, depending on where you are, you're going to take your body without any weapon and you're going to fill up your local news station, your local government office. You're going to go in groups. You're going to file in to the halls of these news networks, these government agencies, And we're all going to be in unison with our message. No more being propagandized. No more being lied to. No more secret societies in charge. No more wars for bankers. We have a few talking points. Maybe we're all carrying signs with the same, but essentially what we're communicating is we know what's up. We're done with the agenda. We're not leaving here. We're down to sit here and fast for as long as we need to with our sign and our message until we're carried on the television or until you guys resign from the airwaves. No more news network. No more government crap. We're standing in here until you all step down. And honestly, if something like that happened, the news media would be forced to cover it. Wow. Over 1 million or more people worldwide have filled up news stations and government offices with demands to end the tyranny. Essentially what we're recognizing is that a coup happened here. Unless the nation was a coup from the beginning, which it very well might have been, but we're recognizing that we're not free. We see what freedom is now. We see we've been lied to. We see where we're being taken. We're being led like, a pack of wild animals off a cliff. That's what's happening here. So until we get 1 million people to stand against these things, it will be business as usual. But that could happen. That is entirely possible. If we're not violent, they can't, shoot us down with their military. They're just going to have to accept the stand against tyranny, the last stand. Something like that's got to happen, Truth Seeker, and it's only going to happen if this message gets out there big enough. And that's only going to happen with resources and people willing to help, which is what I've been trying to do a lot in recent days. So I'm going to do another live stream here shortly. I'm going to do it on Gematria Effect News. Again, I'm doing this right now on Gematria Effect Sports just because I've already put 4 new videos on Gematria Effect News for today. Again, if you're not subscribed to Gematria Effect News, it is my main channel. It's the channel that's been deleted 19 times today. But again, all these videos are new today. Figured out why they're calling it Event 201. Turns out the guy in history who coined the term Corona, his name equals 201. Check out that video if you got time. Very interesting. Did a video responding to Chet Hanks' latest Instagram posts saying that conspiracy theorists are going to be thrown in FEMA camps and he's on his way to a blood sacrifice. He's going to eat somebody's pineal gland on the way. If you haven't seen his Instagram post, check it out. He's being sarcastic, but at the same time, is he really? And see what I decoded in this video. It'll blow your mind. So, got that out. The movie Tangled, the Disney cartoon from a decade ago. The main character is trapped in the Corona castle. Turns out there's a lot to that. And, of course, we covered the death of Kenny Rogers in relation to Dolly Parton this morning. Kenny Rogers' full name equals 203. He's dead on 20/3, March 20th, the 80th day of the year, Rogers 80, and a whole lot more. And, of course, his death's in the headlines today, the day that I said, no doubt there will be a celebrity death in the headlines. It's the way it works. It's clockwork. So, be sure to check out all the videos. YouTube's doing a good job of censoring. A lot of people aren't getting notifications for anything, but trying to keep up as much as possible with all the coronavirus headlines and everything else. So, really would appreciate it if you guys could pledge that $1 a month on the Patreon page. Again, we're nowhere near the goal. I have to have an offer in Friday for the building we're trying to secure to start Gematria Effect News Studios. And as a community, we can definitely make it happen. But so far, the response has been weak. People saving up for, I guess, Purge 5 tickets. Can watch Purge 5 one time and spend $20 or more, or you can donate $1 a month. That's $12 for the whole year, and help fuel the movement that has the power to change the world. So, again, the top pinned post in the video will have the link if you want to pledge that $1. If you can pledge more than $1, that's great too. But really, I'd love to see an army of people pledged at $1 a month, because then I would know that we got forces. We got forces. We got people who are invested, people who care by the thousands, rather than a handful of people who are willing to donate a lot. I'd rather see a lot of people pledging $1. That's what I want to see. So, guys, don't use my blog. You know, it's got a search feature. A lot of blog posts on here. I stopped posting on this blog on January 19th. Ironically, it got maxed out on that date. Said I couldn't post anymore. Said it was all full. It's because it's got like 20-some thousand blog posts on here. I forget, nearly 30,000. There's a lot of content on here. Free to find truth.blogspot.com. The news site, gematriaeffect.news. And again, if you want your off-air Gematria calculator, on the Google Play Store or the Apple Store, search GEN for Gematria Effect News, GEN, Gematria Calculator. Free calculator to download. You can use it off-air, help you out with all your decoding needs. And that was very expensive to develop, so I hope you appreciate it. All right, Truth Seeker. I'll be back soon on Gematria Effect News. Till next time.